people don't always come across the way they want to. For example, have you ever had an experience where a friend or family member cuts you off in the middle of a sentence? It can be irritating. Communication competence is an important part of our social life today. The three main things I think are important for communication competence are empathy, self-monitoring, and motivation. And here are the reasons why. Empathy is vital for a good communicator for these reasons. The first reason is by using empathy, you can understand a person's situation better, as stated in the empathy article. For example, I got interrupted by person B when I was talking to person A. I was able to empathize with B's emotional need to talk with A, and since I was able to empathize, my relationship with B was not harmed. The second reason is, without empathy, it can be hard to build relationships. As stated in the empathy article, empathy enables us to establish rapport with another person, make them feel they are being heard, and through words and body language, mimic their emotions. For example, because I was able to understand B's situation better, we were able to talk privately about it later. The second thing I'm going to be talking about is self-monitoring. Self-monitoring is being aware of what you say and how it affects others. When you self-monitor, you're more careful of what you say and how it can come across to the person you're saying it to. For example, let's say you're at a funeral and you make a potentially insensitive comment. It may not have sounded insensitive, but it could come across insensitive to the person hearing it. So as you can see, it's important to self-monitor and be aware of what you're saying and how it can be perceived. Low self-monitors are often ignorant of social cues and the environment around them. For example, experimental subjects who scored in the lowest quartile on joke-telling skills were more likely than their funnier counterparts to grossly overestimate their sense of humor, whereas high self-monitors are better able to judge others' emotional states. The third thing I'm going to be talking about is motivation. Motivation is important for a couple of reasons. The first reason is people with high motivation to reach out and talk to a person are more likely to have a better relationship than someone who does not. For example, let's say you don't have a high motivation to communicate with a person. That would most likely result in a damaged relationship. However, on the opposite end of the spectrum, let's say you have a high motivation to communicate with a person. That relationship is very likely to flourish and expand. It's also likely to be quite strong if you communicate correctly. Building relationships is not an easy thing to do. The reasons and examples I just stated are exactly why I think empathy, self-monitoring, and motivation are very important for communication competence. Because without them, there's a high chance people will get hurt emotionally, there would be misunderstandings, and all types of relationships could be damaged. All in all, I'd say without effective communication, the world would be in an even worse place than it is now.